Presumably, EVs have just encountered an impediment in that nobody is interested in purchasing them. Given that automakers are delaying their electric vehicle projects to conserve capital and the Biden administration has abandoned the rapid electrification plan, it is unsurprising that dealerships are also avoiding EVs and are therefore devising methods to dispose of them. Since dealers can no longer sell EVs, they're discarding them for the following 5 primary reasons. Number 5, EVs are slow sellers. Initially, dealers were pleased to sell EVs because those were the early stages when early adopters were swarming to get their first environmentally friendly vehicles and demand was high. However, at the same time, the automakers were having a lot of trouble with disrupted supply chains. Dealers had a lot of leeway to sell EVs with enormous markups. In other words, EVs used to be simple to implement. The current EV market is the exact inverse. In addition to the deceleration in growth, the most recent year-over-year data indicates an 8% decrease in EVs, while production has increased by more than 500%. Some sources claim that the offer of EVs has increased by 36% compared to last year. While we cannot confirm this, it is incredibly simple to check the inventory on cars.com and see that EVs is becoming more difficult for dealers to dispose of, even though massive discounts don't help much. The current market supply of EVs is 107 days, which is significantly longer than the industry average. The most recent data indicates that the market supply of EVs is 107 days, with some specific models, such as the Mi, taking even longer to sell. This brings us to the subsequent issue that dealers encounter at EVs. As previously stated, the excessive supply and low demand created easy money for dealers. As a result, dealers were able to impose exorbitant markups on the most popular models, amounting to thousands of dollars. Consequently, despite the fact that actual sales were considerably lower than present figures, profit margins were considerably higher. Given the current market conditions, which are characterized by surplus supply and low demand, it is evident that there is no room for improvement. Examples are numerous, but probably the most obvious one was the massive discounts Ford was giving on the F-150 Lightning earlier this year, with cuts ranging from $7,000 to $15,000. In such a situation, it's pretty clear that dealers cannot count on markups. Their maneuvering space is so tight that in most cases, they can't count on any profit. We even received information that some dealers are deliberately giving up on any profit margins just to make EVs disappear from their lots and finally get their money back. With the current market day supply situation we just talked about, this doesn't come as a surprise at all. Electric cars are selling much slower than expected these days, and from a dealer's perspective, that's not a good thing. Not only does selling the inventory take time, but there's also the matter of the effort salespeople need to invest to sell some of these vehicles. The problem is that when regular people buy EVs, the whole purchase process is a bit different compared to buying a gas-powered car. With internal combustion-powered cars, things were pretty simple. You pay a visit to the dealer, arrange a test drive, finish the paperwork, and you've had your new car. With EVs, things are a bit more complicated. Namely, the latest studies showed that potential EV buyers make 4 visits on average before they decide on a purchase. It's because they're not so familiar with EVs, they want to learn more to be sure that they're making the right move. That's perfectly fine, but from a salesperson's perspective who works for commission, this is a waste of time. Suddenly, they're forced to invest 400% more time to earn the same commission. Or if you want to understand better, they work 3/4 of their time for free in the case of EVs. And we haven't included all those potential buyers who make a few visits but eventually give up. Believe us, this is happening a lot. So salespeople often use all kinds of tricks to draw potential customers back from EVs. They even give false information about charging, range, or highway speed just to change customers' minds and make them want good old gas-powered cars again. Car sales are a great source of money, but for most dealers, they're not actually the biggest profit generator. No, most of the money comes from maintenance and repair services. The problem with EVs is that dealers cannot count on easy money anymore. By easy money, we're thinking of all those services that usually come with internal combustion cars. Even the most fundamental services, such as oil changes or minor repairs, are frequently overpriced by dealers. Since EVs do not perform routine maintenance, this directly impacts dealers' pockets. With repairs, things are way more complicated because EVs don't suffer from the same drawbacks as gas-powered cars. For example, they should be significantly less problematic compared to internal combustion counterparts in theory. But theory is one thing, while practice is something completely different. In practice, EVs cause 80% more problems than gas-powered cars, according to the latest survey taken by Consumer Reports. The only problem is that EV breakdowns are of a different kind. Instead of mechanics, it mostly has to do with software and electronics, and dealers are anything but happy to deal with that because their staff isn't exactly trained for such issues. So in many cases, broken EVs actually sit at dealer lots for weeks while technicians wait for the manufacturer's feedback to solve the problem. In other words, EV repairs can be more complicated and time-consuming, so dealers often have their lots occupied with broken cars waiting to get fixed. Logically, that's not good for their business. In order to sell electric cars, dealers are obligated to fulfill specific criteria established by the manufacturer. These criteria encompass a range of matters, but primarily involve the implementation of charging infrastructure and staff training. However, the most significant challenge is that these requirements demand substantial financial investments, amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Given the current state of the electric vehicle market, not even the most ambitious dealers are willing to make such substantial financial commitments, as evidenced by the situation with Ford deals. Although recent data indicates that the percentage has decreased to 1/3, this unequivocally demonstrates that Ford dealers are not inclined to waste their money, as it is impossible for them to recoup their investment anytime soon given the current market dynamics. The aforementioned Mustang Mach-E is presently operating at a 5-month supply on market days, and the F-150 Lightning is being produced at a mere 1/3 its maximum capacity. Given these circumstances, it is logical that dealers have no interest in investing in the aforementioned vehicles. GM is experiencing comparable challenges in its efforts to penetrate the electric vehicle market. The company continues to incur significant financial losses, which has compelled it to delay several of its major EV investments, such as the production of an all-electric Sierra pickup and Silverado. Simultaneously, dealers are required to make substantial investments in order to qualify for the sale of EV vehicles. The most peculiar circumstance likely involved Buick dealers who were obligated to invest $400,000 into the e-program despite the fact that they do not currently sell electric vehicles. Given this peculiar fact, it is unsurprising that half of Buick dealers would rather participate in a buyout program than make an EV investment. Regarding other GM brands, the company has not yet implemented ultimatums but employs various strategies to exert pressure on dealers who are resisting. We appreciate your viewing and look forward to your return next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.